everyone, it's Amber from The Sensible Mama. I can already tell I'm gonna hate that I'm wearing red lipstick when I start editing this video, but it is what it is. Hi. It's been a little while since I've been on here. The main reason, just to be honest with you, is that I have had every technical issue known to man. My tripod right now is being held together by duct tape. I lost the battery to my microphone and just didn't go get a new one. And then I destroyed my ring light. If you follow me on TikTok, I didn't actually destroy it, but if you follow me on TikTok, you've heard the story that it like fell on my head, and ever since then I've kind of been like, you stay over there. And so because of that, I've just kind of felt like maybe YouTube wasn't in the cards for me right now. And to be honest with you, with all of the effort that goes into YouTube, I've kind of learned that over on TikTok, when it comes to educate, equip, inspire, and share, I can convey the same message. I can get the same point across in 60 seconds shooting on my iPhone as I can in a long form YouTube video with all of this equipment. So I've been hanging out over there, doing a lot of my posts there. But it's not the same, and you definitely can't connect the way that you can in a YouTube video. So today, I set up all of my broken equipment except for my ring light, and we're gonna have a little chat. This one has nothing to do with The Sensible Mama, my store, my business, anything like that. This is just a heart-to-heart of something that I've been working through, and usually if I'm working on something in myself, there are people in my audience who are also working on that, and I just wanted to share that with you today. I don't have a plan for what I'm going to be saying. I am just going to shoot from the hip and hope the message finds its way out. So some of you guys know that I love to rollerblade. My furthest back memories of skating all have to do with rollerblades, but I do know that at some point I roller skated, like on roller skates. And recently, ow, I just bit the inside of my mouth. YouTube is cursed for me right now. Okay, so lately I've been interested in learning how to roller skate. And I'm just realizing how I never really learned how to stop on roller skates. And if you're not like a roller skater and you're thinking this is not relevant to you, give me a minute, there is a message here. So I just realized that I never learned that. And I was trying to think back to my childhood because I do remember going to a roller skating rink as a kid, and I remember wearing those quad wheel skates. And I have this memory of like there being this barrier, this kind of wall around the skating rink, and that my parents would be sitting usually on the other side of that. And if I wanted to go be with them or talk to them or ask them a question, I would just skate with all of my force to that barrier and just like crash into it. And that was how I stopped. And as a kid, I was looking to have fun. I was looking for speed and velocity and enjoyment. And so stopping wasn't really high on my list of priorities, especially because I knew there was that barrier there. And when I needed to stop, I was just going to like roll over there and stop. As a grown up, I am far more concerned with being in control than I was as a kid. And it's important to me that I know how to stop. So I've been researching, asking people who also skate to teach me how to stop in roller skates. And I learned that the toe stops, like the stopper on the front of the roller skate, while it can be used for stopping, some people say that it's more of like a propulsion mechanism than it is a stopping mechanism. It's more for putting your toes down and taking off than it is for stopping. And that there are like really kind of complex ways to go about stopping. There's like the plow stop and the pizza stop. There's the one where you spin around really fast and then jack your heels up and stop on the toe stops. It's very complicated, and I've been trying to learn. I've been learning here in my warehouse because it is a flat, even surface. There are no hills, there are no pebbles. It's very safe, and I've really enjoyed learning in that safe environment. But this weekend, I was just feeling down about a few things, and I had a little bit of time to myself, and I decided I'm going to go outside on the pavement, and I'm going to start practicing some of this stuff. Now, one of the big reasons why I have not skated outside, especially at my house, is that I live at the bottom of this huge hill. And it goes into a cul-de-sac at the end, which is where I live. But even the cul-de-sac is still slightly tilted downward. And my fear on roller skates is that I'm not very good at stopping. And there's no barrier like there was at the skating rink, so I'm just going to crash. But this weekend I told myself, like, it's just time for me to put myself out there and try to learn this in a real scenario. I need to take away the safety mechanisms that I've put in place, like learning in a very clean and sterile warehouse. And I need to learn this in real life. Don't worry, I had ordered a helmet, I had knee pads, elbow pads, wrist guards, I had it all. So I knew that I was basically protected. But even when you've put all of the safety measures in place, nobody likes falling down. And you can still get really hurt even with those measures in place. So I was nervous. I went down to the bottom of the hill first and was just really, really slowly letting myself kind of roll into the curb, same as I would do in the skating rink, and just getting myself used to that feeling of rolling and not being confident you can stop. Because again, in rollerblades, you have so much control. If you're going down a hill in rollerblades, all you do is stick your heel out, lean back a little bit, and when you do, you stop. It's really not complicated. In roller skates, as I learned from experience, if you out of habit stick your heel out in order to stop, your feet fly straight up in the air and you land on your back. So that wasn't going to be an option for me. I was going to have to figure out how to stop in the middle of a frightening experience. So again, I started slow at the bottom of the hill and gradually started getting in the grass, walking my way up the hill a little bit, and then letting myself roll back down. I was really proud of this process. I was feeling good about it. Sometimes I can be too courageous and I will just jump into something and not take a lot of precaution and get hurt. Other times I'm too slow to take the risk and then I end up missing out. So I was proud of myself for being balanced about this. But at one point I did get up high enough on the hill where I remember standing there waiting to step off onto the pavement and why do I want to cry? Just feeling terrified to go. But I did it. And as I was going down the hill, this moment of just terror hit me. Absolute terror. Because I realized that in that moment, going down that hill, I had no control. There was nothing I could do at that point to really slow myself down or stop. It was a matter of either figuring it out when I got to the bottom of the hill or crashing. As I was making my way down, I started losing control. I started shifting around on my skates. I put my arms out and I knew a fall was coming soon. But at some point, I leaned forward a little bit and it's hard to describe. The only way I can really phrase it is that I bared down on the skates. So I got really low to the ground and I pressed all of my weight into the heels of my skates and I had to lean forward. And this is where the metaphor is coming. I'm going to get there. And when I did that, when I leaned into it, when I leaned toward the bottom of the hill instead of away from it like I would in rollerblades, that was when I regained control. I was still moving fast. This did not really slow me down that much, but the teetering that I was doing stopped. And I felt my wheels kind of grip the pavement a little bit. And I realized I may still fall when I get to the bottom. I may crash when I get down there. But in the middle of that fear and that chaos, my brain kicked in and took over and did something to help me regain control. And when I got to the bottom, I got myself slowed down enough with that control I had gained from bearing down and leaning forward into it that I was able to slow down and turn. So you kind of in skates, you kind of stick your toes out and bring your heels in together and you'll turn. And I was able to turn slowly enough to reach that point where I could pop up onto the toe stops of my skates and stop. Now, a moment after that, I fell down, but it was a controlled fall and I didn't hurt myself. It was more of just, I was in such shock that I survived the hill and that I stopped that my body just kind of tipped over anyway. But I sat there, I scooted myself off over to the side of the road and I sat there and I just broke down into tears. Because I spend a lot of time trying to be in control. I spend a lot of time making sure that every variable is known to me, making sure that I have a plan, a process, and an outcome in place that I know of so that nothing can ever catch me off guard or cause me to stumble or to fall. That lesson on that hill, it made me realize that I can't always control everything. Some stuff is just out of my control. And two, sometimes those things that are scary, that you don't have control over, that you wish you could run away from, you have to lean into them. You're not always going to gain control of them, I guess, but you have to lean into them. You have to bear down into them because you're not going to escape them. That was the thing I learned on that hill. At this point, there's nothing I can do to get away from this problem. The only thing I can do is lean in, bear down, ride it out, and do my best to do it with grace and to not fall down on the way. Now, I still fell down, but I did it with grace. And I did it in a way that still was controlled. I could not control the situation. I couldn't get away from the hill. I couldn't make the hill any more flat. I couldn't throw the brakes on. But I could find my stability and my balance in the moment and ride it out until I got to a safe place to do what I knew how to do, to stop. I don't always like giving the resolution to the metaphor because sometimes if I leave it open, you can just sort of piece in your own elements of the story. But on this one, I'm going to try. Whatever it is that has you feeling out of control, that you can't control right now, that makes you feel unstable, off balance, like you're moving too fast, that thing may be something that you want to try to run away from, or you may want to try to fix it. And sometimes those situations can't be run away from, and they can't be fixed. At least not right now. But instead of running away from those things, maybe it's time to bear down on them. I want to be careful here. I don't mean to embrace them. I don't mean to accept bad circumstances in your life. I don't mean that you should just ride it out and do nothing. That's not what I did on my skates. What I mean is you have to lean into it. The discomfort, the dissatisfaction, whatever it is that you're lacking or missing or hurting over, it may be time to lean into it and take back whatever control that you can, so that when the time comes, you are prepared, you are ready to face the fall if it comes. Or you are ready to face the success when it comes. Or you are just prepared to put into place the things that you know are good for you when things slow down. The next lesson that I learned came from a fall that happened after that first one. This one was a bad one. It scared me the whole way into the fall. And it was one of those like fall and roll and tumble and bang things that I haven't banged in a long time. It was very awful. And I realized something. As I stood up, I was so mad. And I know this is going to sound cliche, but these are I guess I think in cliches to some extent, because what I first thought when I stood up is I should not be afraid of falling down. Falling down should be afraid of me. Because stay with me. Because when I fall down, I get up angry. And when I'm angry, I get determined. And when I'm determined, I get strong. And when I'm strong, I am unbreakable. And that doesn't mean that I will never hurt or crack, but it does mean that I will never break. And I learn how to get there by falling down. I learn how to get there by rolling with it. I learn how to get there by standing up when I would rather stay down. and trying again. So, whatever is that thing that's making you feel out of control, whatever is that fall that you've taken recently, and you're wondering if you can get back up, I'm here to tell you that you can. I'm here to tell you that you are strong enough to do it. I'm here to tell you that you are empowered enough to do it, and that there's a lesson in that fall. Don't miss the lesson. Whew, did I get the message out? Did it come together? We'll know when we edit it. I feel like that got a little bit more emotional than I intended it to be. This was supposed to be just a chit chat. But sometimes these ones where I just sit down and shoot from the hip end up being some of my favorites. I don't know if they're yours. If you want to share what you're going through, a struggle that you've been on, leave it in the comments. I'd love to talk with you guys. You guys have been awesome about chatting with each other in the comments too, which is really cool. I guess that's all I have for you today. Love ya, mean it, always. Mwah. And I'll see you in the next one.